Hello there, audience. What's happening? What's happening with you? All good? All good. Nice. Nice talking to you. Anyway, now it's my turn. Now I talk. Oh, shit balls. I was thinking what to record about today, and I decided to record about psychedelics. And I'm probably gonna call this Be Careful Psychedelics. I'm not gonna make a video that's like anti-psychedelics, but I just want to actually, talk about the truth about psychedelics and the dark side of psychedelics, and of course the bright side too. Yo, where do we begin? I mean, psychedelics exploded in popularity real fast, partially because it was so effective at uh, ridding of fears, right? Because what psychedelics do is dissolve the boundaries, right? So sometimes we have a lot of these belief systems are boundaries, right? So a lot of times we have those boundaries because we don't want to feel it, so we create the boundaries, these walls around our heart, so to speak. And you pop the psychedelic, and it just melts those boundaries, right? And so then you access the feelings, you finally start processing the feelings, you start finding the truth behind all the emotional aspects of your life. So, and then of course after that you feel, oh wow, you've healed, um, you're much better with people, you're much better with your things, anxiety may be gone away, depression, stuff like that. So you get that type of effect. So, and of course, since that would be the the first experience, it's very easy to see how people would recommend other people go do this, go do that, and then just people just go for it. But it's not as simple. Like I said, it dissolves boundaries. Okay, that's all it does. I know people like to anthropomorphize it and say, the mushroom is talking to me, or Mother Ayahuasca is talking to me, or all these aspects, which is just the figments of their imagination, right? If you believe in a ayahuasca bunny, there's going to be ayahuasca bunny talking to you. You see? So that part of anthropomorphizing the energy is always unique to individual mind, and if it helps them, speak with a Mother Ayahuasca rather than machine elves or whatever, then that's fine, right? But of course, there is the energy itself has its own structure, like the real view, but they not be very palatable to you, so you make these up, right? And the problem with that is that you start worshipping that ideal, right? You're actually thinking that your belief is actually reality, and man, you just start creating a new belief, okay? But the problem with this belief is that now it's solidified with these very powerful dissolutions of the boundary and new formations, right? Like you are reprogramming your mind, and if you reprogram your mind with the new beliefs, but haven't really changed the quality of your consciousness, because see, that's the thing. It's like when you take psychedelics. I want to go into ayahuasca because I want to talk about different psychedelics and especially ayahuasca, and that's why I want to recommend that to people. But the point I'm trying to make is that because it dissolves boundaries, it gives you an opportunity, right? It gives you an opportunity, but what you do with it is still up to you. You may be at the door where it's time for you to let go, but you don't want to let go, and so you're milking this image, and you're repeating the ayahuasca experiences to talk with the same kind of entities, and you are creating that belief, right? The problem with that is that you came there to rid of the beliefs, but now you created a new one. And this uh, and because you have not really dissolved the root of the fear, this belief system is going to grow very, very powerful. And that's going to, before you had an ego, now you have super ego. And that's what psychedelics can do to you. And man, like the people who are supposed to be like spiritual are, the worst type of people to hang out with, man. They can't take a joke, man. They take everything seriously. It's just, you know what I'm saying. It's just the wrong type of vibe, and you can see there's something horribly gone wrong. And I personally got to the point that I just can't hang out with the people who call themselves spiritual, and who take ayahuasca every month or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and worship this as like, oh, medicine is like, universal medicine, but it's just exactly the same thing. It's just like any other drug. You're just repeating the cycle. So to tell me exactly how that liberated you, how did it make you into independent individual, and free feeling person when you're still depending on that shit. And now you started, coloring yourself with all sorts of fucking nonsense, acting some stupid ass role. Sorry. But anyway. And of course that role is not 1 second. Then of course, it turns into a business, and then people do the business out of this, and you just make it look like it's all good. And creates a tourism, psychedelic tourism and all that shit, and it's just gone wrong. You just created another industry again, another fucking coping industry. And it's like, where does it, some people, just because you're taking psychedelic, it didn't actually make you into a better person. A person who's willing to let go of their shit is gonna make into a better person. A person who is just taking, to find more knowledge or whatever, to just actually preserve that ego and just grow even more, it just becomes this asshole, And but now this asshole is kind of powdered a little bit, so of course you can't. It's nicer than just bare ass, but it's still ass. You see what I'm saying? And these are the worst. As a lot of these so-called spiritual speakers, man, and these leaders are, man, you can just watch them, use your intuition, and you see from there. Like, that's to me, like the most dangerous demon is the one who pretends to be the saint. Watch out for these motherfuckers, and don't fall for this shit, man. Don't fall for all this, I'm a fucking healer and all that nonsense, Some people can see through them, and that's why these people are very anyway, enough of the people. But I'm just trying to say that psychedelics is just going to accelerate of which direction you're going. Like, if you hopefully it makes sense. It does not make it, for example, if someone takes mushroom, has one type of experience, and Terence McKenna takes mushroom, you know what I'm saying, he downloads information and concepts and different ideas that could actually be useful. And I've seen some people that take a lot of mushrooms, and the energy is, there's no cohesion there. It's all, it's a disaster. This is what I'm trying to say, is that psychedelics, there's this idea that psychedelics, can necessarily help people, but reality is that it's a double-edged sword. It can help, but it can make it worse. Because like I said, if you develop superego, now you have to dismantle all of that, which is way harder than what you start with. And some people, I'm sorry, but they're lost cause, man. Some superegos will never go back to innocence. Um, and maybe next lifetime, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I want to go about the ayahuasca and what's the problem with ayahuasca. First of all, ayahuasca is a poison, okay? It's not a coincidence why your body wants to reject it. It's not a coincidence why you either vomit or shit your pants, you know? And on the offshoot chance that you may connect with God with your, you know, while vomiting and shitting your pants. I mean, come on, man, what the fuck? And people are willing to do this, man. And in these ayahuasca, you know, I've done it, so you know I can talk about it. And honestly, there is no any more value. Actually, all the rest of the effects are detrimental and embarrassing, as opposed to DMT, because the active ingredient in ayahuasca is DMT. The rest of it is just to make it active and stuff like that. And yes, you can argue that like, oh, shitting your pants and vomiting is a part of the experience. Go fuck yourself, okay? So DMT is the active ingredient. Then you can have the extract crystals that are pure. Smoke it, 5-10 minutes experience. Everything that you need to connect with, that you will connect to, you'll go back to the same mind, same body, completely fresh. Nothing is affected in your mind, nothing is affected in your body, and now there's something has changed within your soul. And normally you're good for probably, you know, 5-10 years, maybe even lifetime, right? Because that little touch, that little portal that DMT has opened is enough for you to now to go towards a better direction in your life. Clean, pristine, and done. And you do it as a solo, and you may have some people, not because they're guiding your fucking experience, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna go to this, the other dark side of the ayahuasca. Not because they're guiding to experience, but they're just there to help you out, you know. Right, because when you smoke, somebody needs to hold this for you, because if you do it 3 tokes, the 3rd toke you kind of need help, you know, like, so they're just assisting you to go through the experience. They're not really doing anything to you, they're not guiding, nothing, okay? Which is your solo experience. You go within, and what you experience, you've experienced, and that's it. All these ayahuasca moves, but ayahuasca lasts 4 hours and you can do all that shit. Get the fuck out of here, man. Here's the thing with ayahuasca. Here's the dark side of the ayahuasca. First of all, it was used in a tribe, in a small groups where people and families are close to heal their relationships and stuff like that, and they just didn't have the extractive crystals that they were able to use it, so they were okay to shit their pants and vomit, you know. If you give them the crystal they can smoke, they say, oh my god, this is advanced technology, forget that freaking ayahuasca bullshit, you know what I'm saying? So, but here's what's going to happen, what is happening now. You have a group of people that they don't know each other. You don't know what is there. You don't know what kind of darkness is going to be opened up, and what kind of vulnerabilities you have, and what kind of entities can attach to you and have used that opportunity when the portals are open, you see? So this is why a lot of times people after ayahuasca experiences had these very weird changes. Of course, there was this elation immediately, But then there were some very dark events in their life started happening, you know, that they would never happen before, but now they start happening. The reactions to the, I've experienced that, like I had to rid of it, right? It wasn't even mine. But you start acting out of your character as if like some other entity is acting through you, if you have these vulnerabilities. And a lot of times, again, man, I'm just telling you how it is, okay? I mean, it's not that I have not tried it. I mean, I kind of wanted for ayahuasca to be a thing that it helps people. But after weighing everything, I saw that, like, no, the risks are much greater than the benefits. And there's no any additional benefit than DMT inhalation. Because that's what's active ingredient, you know, like, okay, I'm not going to go into argue about the details, but I'm just going to tell you something. A lot of times when people do the ayahuasca for commercial reasons, the shamans, they just learn the tricks and how to do it, right? So they will be there guiding you. But in fact, what's going on, and when people are opening themselves and they see they're suffering, you know, they're going through hell and all that stuff, a lot of times they are processing the shit that shaman is dumping on them. Okay? So a lot of times these dark shamans, they bring the people there so they can dump their shit. Like this is like the incubus, but through a ceremonial way. They get all the alleviation, they sit happy ever after there, you see what I'm saying? And then all these people are in suffering, you know? And a lot of people are more confused after than before. And yes, there are benefits of people are reporting benefits, like I said, but there's nothing, I've never seen anything that people would not report it during DMT. And there's no ceremony, there's nothing, you know, I mean, you can have like a nice environment, of course, quiet, peaceful in nature, but none of that, all that bullshit that's going on over there, you see. And it's just the pretty garments, pretty decorations with no substance, and the dangers are really, you know, not good. Example, I want to talk about, holy shit, it's 18 minutes already? Anyway, I want to talk about the man bear pig. Oh shit, boss. Will Smith, okay, I want to talk about Will Smith and what the fuck happened with Chris Rock. Will Smith took 14 ayahuascas, right? And when he was pretty good actor, pretty altogether person, right? Before he started doing the ayahuasca shit, you know what I'm saying? And what happened after? I don't have to tell you. Emotional fucking breakdowns, acting out like nuts and crazy. I don't know if he's ever going to return back to normal. This is a clear example of superego. He's writing the books, how enlightened he is and all that stuff. And of course it's an illusion, and there's nothing dealt with, you know. He hasn't healed anything. Actually just exploded in all the nonsense. But anyway, just getting to the point, I argued that it wasn't that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. I argued that it was Jada. You know, and without you even believing any kind of paranormal activities, if you just believe for emotional transfer, right? Like if you're in one emotional state and you're open, vulnerable, so to speak, right? And then in this case, wife, right, is getting upset, right? And having that emotional reaction, and then you're being moved by that emotion and you want to defend your wife by slapping Chris Rock. But Will Smith was laughing at the joke, and then he looked at his wife, solid reaction, emotional transition, action. Will Smith had no intention in slapping Chris Rock until the Jada had intention to slap Chris Rock. It was the Jada who slapped Chris Rock, using her husband as an instrument to do so. And this is why, like, he has no self-authority. It's another problem with ayahuasca, because you're vulnerable to these entities, man. You call them entities, but you know, emotions, right? If she's feeling hurt, and in that moment she has anger and wants to hurt the person that hurt her over a stupid ass joke that wasn't even that bad, you know, like it was an innocent joke. And but the reaction was, why, if she hasn't taken ayahuasca, Will Smith, I don't think that they would have been laughing off. But that craziness that was happening, it was because the ayahuasca. So that's my little theory. I mean, if you watch everything in the details, you'll see how it all happens. You'll see the connection with ayahuasca. You'll see that even right now, like, he's not himself, struggling to get back to how he was. Man, he was such a cool dude, man. That innocence that he had was a beautiful thing. And he lost it all, man. He lost it all. Why? Because he needed to deal with a little bit of emotional issues. So he went on the 14 ayahuasca retreat. Fuck knows what he carried back into his home. Don't do ayahuasca. Like I said, the active ingredient is DMT. Get some DMT crystals if you are up for this type of experience. I understand that it's like possibly one in a lifetime, and if you just touch these states of consciousness, that's enough for you to know that, okay, they exist. That's enough for you to know that life is not just material, and that is enough for you to live a life in a different trajectory that is going to be, you know, much more fulfilling. You're not going to live the bullshit anymore, you know. And of course, I don't recommend smoking it often. I do not recommend smoking it often. There is no additional value, but the danger to open up the boundaries that you're not ready for, and your human mind, human brain is not ready to deal with, and so then you get more of a problem. There's no need to push through where you don't need to be there. You know something, like there are these portals and gates and doors that we evolve, but if you're playing this level of game and you open this door, you got plenty of time to play this level of game. You don't need to pop, open all the portals and then what? You won't be able to handle it, man. You won't be able to handle it. That's what there's no. And if you, for example, feel that, oh, I'm gonna smoke DMT because I have emotional issues, don't fucking do it. You know, deal with your emotional issues. That's why I'm not anti-psychedelic, but I know Terence McKenna was taking mushrooms to explore consciousness, right? But Terence McKenna was able to do that. His mind was able to do that, and you probably see, like I said, you see Terence McKenna taking mushroom, exploring consciousness, and downloading all sorts of interesting concepts and that are useful and helpful as a scientist, and then you see other bro taking mushrooms and just becoming incoherent mess that is not productive, not, just a plant. And that's why, like I said, psychedelics don't really make you into a genius. If you had this idea that, like Terence McKenna took mushrooms, so if I take mushrooms, I'm just gonna be just as genius as Terence McKenna. No, maybe you're not playing that role in this lifetime. Okay, maybe you're playing different role. Very likely you're playing different role. Maybe very few people like Terence McKenna who's able to handle that type of journey. Which, by the way, he himself said that I'm taking those psychedelics to explore consciousness. He also said, I know that I could take them to heal myself, but that's not what I'm interested at. Okay, and that his last time he took his psychedelics, he faced all the shit that he didn't want to face, and it was way too much for him, and it turned into brain cancer because there was so much shit that he did not face. If he, like, I don't want to speak as an authority here, but like it's highly likely that if he spent some time on his own, you know, healing of his emotional states, and actually going deeper into his heart rather than just into his mind, it's very likely that he would still be alive, you see. And I don't think he would disagree with that. But here's of course a lesson for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, it can definitely, psychedelics can definitely help you in being more of who you are. Like, it can really open those gates, right? But like I said, normally it's very unlikely that you will need to take a psychedelic more often than every 5 to 10 years. Why am I saying that? Because it's, man, like, if you have if you live 50 years and you have 10 different lifetimes, then okay, every 5 years you can see that, okay, there's time to let this personality go, this new one's being born. And if that is what's happening to you, okay, take it. You'll feel it when you run out of your passion for this type of personality, and this new personality needs to be born. Some people are like that. I'm like that. You know, every 5 years I go through the complete transformation and become a completely different person. You know, in terms of like what are my drives, what is my passion. You see what I'm saying? But I see that it's not common. I see a lot of people just maybe have 1 or 2 transitions in their lifetime, and so therefore, possibly it would be wise to take one once or twice in their lifetime. You know, it does help you with that transition, but everything else is in your hands. It's just like a little bit of it's supposed to be a, what's that word, inspiration, catalyst. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's supposed to be a catalyst. It's not supposed to fix things for you. It's just a catalyst. You gotta do your own living. You gotta do your own life. And that's why sometimes it can work in both ways. Like, even talking about weed, right? Like, you can smoke weed and you can face all the shadows that are there to face, and just you can let that go. Or you can try to run away from it. And I see there's certain groups of people that, and sometimes there's this reputation, like, oh, people who smoke marijuana are evil, or like they have problems. And in some groups of people it's true, like, it's true. I'm saying some groups of people, but I really mean, for example, in Mexico and California, compare those two. There's this reputation that only like people with a lot of emotional problems smoke marijuana. And I was like, what the fuck? Why everybody thinks that smoking marijuana is the people with emotional problems, or like, dark people? So what the hell? In California, it's not like that, In California, it's the people who smoke marijuana, the people who want to enjoy life. So you see, it can be used both ways. You can just face the things that you need to face, and you can run away from things that you want to run away. It's still up to you which direction you're going. And same thing with psychedelics, man. And of course, there's this effect that lasts, for like 6 months after or a year after, and then you think that that's, it's going to be for the rest of your life. No, it's not going to be. You're still going to have to deal with your life as it comes. Do not rely on psychedelics. If a month goes by and you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you take another ayahuasca, you're waiting for you're just planning for some disaster in your life. This, I can guarantee you, the people that were in your life are going to change. You're probably going to do something crazy ass like Will Smith did, ruin your life, ruin your reputation, and just because you relied on this so-called medicine instead of just facing your own stuff. Like I said again, resolving the boundary does not mean necessarily healing. It can actually mean something anyway. I think it's done. I think I've exhausted this subject. Hopefully you enjoy my little rant. Peace, and see you next one.